Gaming is culture.
You fucking whiny whore.
Gaming.
I think this is the right one. Yes. Okay.
Because I never played a Xenoblade game up until quite recently. I think I played Xenoblade for the first time during COVID.
Yeah.
Because I was like, oh,
I hate this guy.
I want to get into this game.
Fucking shit.
Oh, Jesus. I was like, I want to. It was during COVID. I'm inside. I want to start some games that I've always wanted to start. So I started playing Xenoblade 1. I think I picked up and dropped that game probably like 4 or 5 times until it finally clicked.
Yeah.
Because I was just like, I just can't really get into this battle system. Not necessarily because it's bad. It's just, I don't know, something about it. There was this like one extra hurdle that I needed to get across for it to be like, oh, okay, I get it.
What was that aha moment for you then?
I think it was when I maybe hit like the second boss, where where you had to start in Xenoblade 1, where you kind of had to start like not just like mashing actions, but like you also had to like kind of theorize and time stuff, and like switch characters around and stuff like that. And that was when I was like, oh, okay, now I kind of get what this system is trying to do. Because the first boss you don't have to do that; you can just fucking mash your way through it because it's just a tutorial boss. But like the second boss was, I was just like, oh, okay, now I actually see the complexities of this system, and I know how having to know this more complex system is going to make the further battles more interesting. And it was also around the time where the story was actually getting interesting, because Xenoblade 1 takes a while to get started up in the story as well. But yeah, but I mean, there's so many games like that. Like Xenoblade 3 as well. Played like the first 5 hours, maybe like 2-3 times, and I was just like, just can't get into it. I don't know what it is. I'm sure if I got past that hurdle, I'd enjoy it. But
yeah, for me with the Final Fantasy VII Remake, what is like stopping me is that it's kind of like a 50-50 between turn-based combats and a real-time battle system. Right? But instead of like, and I love both turn-based systems and I love real-time combat systems. And what I can't get into is that it tries to do both, but it doesn't satisfy me fully in either aspect. When I'm getting into the action side, I hate the fact that I have to pause and it breaks the flow of the action of it. And with like the turn-based battle part, it's like, because I'm also juggling that with the real-time battle system and the blocking and the dodging and stuff like that, I can't fully focus on the decision-making process of it as well. So it's kind of like, I'm just like, I'm just, you're trying to satisfy both parts of my brain, but it's none of them is being like fully satisfied. And I think I would prefer it if it was just fully committed to being either one or the other.
I kind of get that, because the second 7 remake that I played, halfway through I was just kind of getting like,
well, now we know why Chaka Shaka recommended this. Because he's obsessed with Final Fantasy, and by extension, Kingdom Shards.
Bored of the actual combat, so
This is boring as fuck already.
Changed the game to easy, just because I was like, I'd rather just like actually focus on the story than anything, because I feel that's the main draw for a game like I mean, not to say that the battle stuff was like necessarily boring or anything, but like in the normal difficulty, like there's also some parts where you kind of have to grind, and I was just like, I don't even like the combat that much to begin with, let alone having to grind with this system as well. I'm just like, nah, I'm treating this more as like a fucking 50-hour movie, than anything. Because like the thing you have to understand as well is that like you played the original, you'd know the original 7 is like what, a 60-hour game, maybe 50-60-hour game.
Not even. It's a 35-hour game.
Yeah, right. The first 2 games already are like probably 30-40 hours each. So that's how much bloat that they put into this, and a lot of it is also because like the cutscenes are longer, and
and to be honest, like when you play the original, it's 36 hours, and I think a lot of people always associate JRPGs having a lot of grinding necessary, but at least for like Square, at least. Maybe the earlier ones they do, but at least 6 through 10, you don't really need to.
No, not really.
I pretty much never had to grind. I would always follow the story, and unless you're like actually unable to like strategize in a battle, like, you should be fine.
Yeah.
You absolutely have to grind in those Final Fantasy games if you do any of the optional content.
Like, obviously, if you want to fight, like,
if you just do, the fucking straightforward, hallway simulator style playthrough, maybe you won't have to grind. You probably will a little bit, but yeah, if you don't do any of the side content, then sure, you don't have to grind at all.
Like the Omega bosses, like the Ultima or whatever, yes, you will need to grind an ungodly amount, but that's like an after-story thing that you can do if you want to. Right? It's not something you do before. So it's, the grinding is not really that present, and then if they like actually force you to do it, and like that sounds But even just seeing this remake 7, 33 hours, Rebirth 40 to 60. What?
Yeah. They added a lot more stuff to this game.
It does not take 40 to 60 hours to beat Rebirth. You can get through Rebirth in 25 hours if you just put it on easy and play the story. It's not that long. Which even then, it might not even be 25 hours. You can probably get through it faster than that.
And I'm going to assume that Revelation, the last game, is probably going to be the same length as Rebirth. Because, again, we're only like 2/3 of the way through the original story.
Do you just like restart your progress, or does it carry over or something? How does it work?
I'm not too sure, actually. I mean, fuck.
What happened for Remake and Rebirth? Did you just start fresh with a new character? Or?
Well, Remake, yeah, you start fresh.
Sorry, Rebirth, sorry.
For Rebirth,
like, what are all the levels you got in the previous game and shit?
I think it starts from the beginning. and everything just kind of scales down with it. Yeah. I don't remember that much because when did Rebirth come out? Like fucking 10 years ago? Like a long fucking time ago.
Oh, Rebirth 10 years ago.
How long has it been since Rebirth came out?
4 years.
I mean, yeah, that's still a long time ago.
Yeah. Also, there is one.
24. Only 2 years ago. Oh no, you know why? It's because it was the same time when I think it was like P3 and those games came out as well. So
like, there is also one small thing that bothers me about the remake as well, and I wanna put it out there to see if I'm the only person who thinks this way.
I just want to remind everyone that Chaka Shaka is the one who sent this video, but also accuses me of being obsessed with Final Fantasy. So, just want to point that out because, yet again, the projection is on a whole nother level.
But I don't know if it's just with the Final Fantasy VII remakes, but my God, with the character animations and the cutscenes and stuff, sometimes
7 inches?
they are too anime.
That's pretty big.
I don't know if I'm the only one that...
And this is coming from not only an anime fan, but a JRPG fan.
Yes. Okay. Here's the thing, right? Because it's not going to be a problem with the original with the original games and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But when you have like hyper realistic like 3D renders of the characters, and it's not an anime style, it's like it's more akin to like, you know, a traditional real life, you know. My brain registers this as more closely resembling real life actors than it does like an anime style, because you know, when you have like anime style, when you actually have an anime aesthetic, you know, you
like a
kind of,
Xenoblade or something.
like a Xenoblade or something, you're like, okay, you let it go.
Yeah.
When I see fucking, when I see fucking Aerith or Tifa being like, you know, oh, Cloud, oh, it's to me, it just breaks the immersion a little bit, because it's just like that, it's like that uncanny valley.
It's like going on Maid Cafe, right?
Yes, and
oh my God, that's so true.
Do you know what I mean?
Fuck yeah.
And it's just, it was just like, why does this bother me? Because like,
fucking 10, dude, this is boring as shit.
They are so kind of like, maybe the character is like so anime and so
Bill Herb with the 10. God of War actor was getting replaced for the show. Apparently now the kid actors will be replaced, and Dave Bautista is in talks to play Kratos now. It's already falling apart. Good. God of Laundry next. Yeah. You know, the downfall of God of War is absolutely fucking deserved. Absolutely deserved.
Like,
when it's like Kate Sith, it's like, okay, it makes sense because that's a fucking cat. But like, I kind of get what you mean.
because the only actually Final Fantasy I finished was Final Fantasy 16, 15?
16?
The
newest one?
Yeah, the newest
16,
one. Yeah. And to me, you know, same aesthetic, but that feels like way more grounded, way more like,
for sure.
You know, way more gruff, much closer to like a Game of Thrones.
The only Final Fantasy he finished is 16. The worst story and probably modern Final Fantasy game.
Bruh.
The least Final Fantasy-like Final Fantasy game. What a great authoritative source on, you know, what makes a Final Fantasy game good.
Or something like that. And going from that to Final Fantasy VII, where everyone in this is so incredibly anime-esque to the point where it kind of like takes me out of sight. I don't know. I'm saying this because I just want to know, am I the only one? Am I the only anime fan where I'm bothered by this? That even I fucking love anime and the anime tropes.
No, I get what you mean, actually.
I think if you compare it to, I think a studio that's doing animation really high, like fidelity animation at least, that's doing it really well. It's probably like, again, like Capcom with Resident Evil, like the animation, really fucking hyper realistic and
grounded,
but it looks like really natural, like the way that like the characters move in the space, like. I don't know how much they don't have like a whole fucking Leon Kennedy animation team to make him move fucking hot and handsome. But
didn't they motion capture that?
Yeah, it's like motion capture. I think. Maybe it is motion. Maybe it's all motion capture.
Yeah.
But like I think it's probably how you would probably want to do it to make it look realistic. I don't know. I mean, probably just different animating styles. Really.
Yeah, I think it's a different animation style. I just sometimes there are just moments that take me out of it because I've registered this as a live action, close to a live action story, and then sometimes one of the characters will just do something that's like so anime, and it works in.
It's mostly Aerith.
Yeah, they don't do mocap for this at all, or is it?
I want to assume they did mocap.
Because if it's mocap, you hope that you'd get more lifelike animation.
No, Final Fantasy VII remake. I'm just sad that they fucking cancelled the 9 remake.
They cancelled the 9 remake?
That wasn't like confirmed, was it?
I think it's confirmed that they cancelled the 9 remake. That's what I saw.
Extensive motion capture. But it doesn't feel like they did?
No, it does, but they are doing motions that you would see like a typical anime character doing.
Maybe the direction is like
exactly.
Cringe to do it.
Again, it's like a maid cafe, right? It's like, I know you don't actually talk.
I remember I saw someone talk about this and they were like, no, it's normal in Japan to do that. And I was like, the fuck are you talking
about? In what universe?
Like, it is not fucking normal.
Maybe if you're talking to like a Ninhitter girl.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, if this was like a 2D animation style, there are plenty of games and JRPGs where I think it works like perfectly.
Oh my god, it's 7 more minutes of this. This is so fucking boring, dude. Midnight Mobile with the 2. I'm not trying to be rude, but why are they ugly as fuck? Well, they talk about anime for a living, so yeah. Not really the best sample.
Like Persona series, for example,
Yeah.
where I'm like, that to me, my brain
Just look at GB reviews.
registers that as an anime.
Yeah.
And when characters in that act like anime characters, there's nothing weird
Makes
about
sense.
it. Yeah, this one just hit that uncanny valley for me sometimes, and I'm just like, yeah.
Shit, I'm not going to be able to unsee that now. Because I'm probably going to play the last game as well, because I'm already
Yeah, you
fucking
have
2
to.
games through
Yeah,
it. I might as well
it's
see it to the end. But
Yeah.
fuck, next time I see Aerith on screen,
Yeah, the middle guy kind of does look like Synth if Synth was white and not Italian.
I'm just going to remember that. I'm just going to be like, bitch, calm down.
Bitch, you're a character, not a cosplayer.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, actually, I don't even think she's going to be in the 3rd game. She's already dead, so.
damn, Joey.
Spoilers, by the way, for a 30-year-old game.
Damn, it's like me spawning One Piece the corner.
Yeah.
Okay, that's actually spoilers. I mean, yeah, I don't think much about it. Again, I like turn-based a lot. I don't really.
What amazing character
how
development.
how times have changed.
I know.
How times
Like,
have changed,
there's
man.
not, and I also, if anything, I mean, you know, I like what, especially Day 3 did with turn-based. I like Chrono Trigger's turn-based. I love 6's active. I like active battle turn-based too a lot. I
Yeah,
like
6 perfected that shit,
I
man.
love when they force you to be quick with your decisions.
Yeah.
It adds a lot of stakes to it.
Yeah.
Because it's like, oh, the enemy is actually fast. I can't just take my time.
Yeah.
That's always very fun.
Yeah.
So I think there's a lot of ways of doing it. And to me, the kind of DMC 5 fighting system doesn't really appeal to me that much.
The hack and slash.
Yeah.
Is it hack and slash?
I guess it would be hack and
kinda.
slash.
Yeah.
Kind of like half hack and slash.
Why are we listening to these fucking retards, dude? Holy shit.
Half fighting game inputs.
Yeah, yeah.
I hate fighting game inputs with a
What do you
burning
mean?
passion. Like, I hate having to do
Button
like,
combos and shit?
massive button combos.
Yeah, me too.
For me, that is not fundamental.
I got back into
Devil May Cry hack and slash? I don't even fucking know, bro.
Guilty
Why
Gear
are we
Strive.
even
I know what you're
watching
saying.
Oh,
this
shit.
Yeah, and I also I got to I hit my wall, and
I just again want to point out this is how obsessed Chaka Shaka. How old is this shit? Curious. How old is this? So Chaka Shaka went back over a month through this channel's fucking content to find a single video talking about Final Fantasy so he could request it because he loves it so much.
my wall was like plat. And I hit my wall basically of how far I can get without having to learn combos.
I don't even know why you would subject yourself to watching this shit.
and just hitting pure fundamentals because goddamn, I would say learning like getting good at fighting games is honestly has a lot of similarities to learning musical instruments actually, because you know with musical instruments you just got to get to that point where you want to play your favorite songs, but you just got to start practicing scales. And
you gotta nail the fundamentals.
Yeah, you got to nail the fundamentals, and you just got to get the scales right.
And let me tell you, ain't nothing more boring than playing scales for 30 minutes.
Yes,
that shit's yawn-inducing.
Yeah,
But you gotta do it.
and for me, my wall with fighting games was okay. I've practiced my fundamentals and just trying to read the opponent and getting good, but everyone's just like out damaging me and out comboing me, and now I just got to sit.
It's like, oh, you misinputted 2 frames late. You're just dead.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. My muscle memory's just not good enough.
You know, with games like when I played, I imagine like 16 and stuff, like you probably never need to really learn the crazy combos because normally the basic ones are sufficient enough to get you through the game.
See, what I
I
learned
don't know,
off-
was it? I mean, I assume the basic combos are normally enough.
Yeah, I'd say so.
If there is a crazy combo that is actually difficult, there's normally never a need in story games to actually have to learn it.
Yeah,
that's true. And
Yeah,
that's
most
true.
of the time you're just like, oh, summon Bahamut, you're fine.
Well, it's funny because in fighting games, when you get to a certain point, you realize that fighting games is actually just a turn-based game. That is,
Except each turn is like 2 frames long.
no,
Well, there's just so much theory in fighting games, and like spacing is such a massive part of it.
yeah, and I mean the theory in fighting games is you have the neutral game, which is like the footsies, right? And that is the real fighting game right there, right? Because the whole concept is to get that first hit in, right? And then once you get that first hit in, it's a turn-based game. You can put down the fucking controller and be like, okay, I'm going to take this much damage, and then what happens? And then when the combo finishes, what happens?
2023 Perfect Dark with the Rage Quit. Much appreciated, man. Love how all 3 of these guys are the faces of Are they actually? I know that one dude on the fucking right, the anime man. He's kind of popular, at least he used to be. You know, I can't fucking stand that dude, but I don't know about the other 2. And 2 of them are not even Japanese, nor know Japanese, and the other one is married to a fat OnlyFans whore. Many such cases, man. You know? Many such cases. That's probably why, I'm sure certain opinions come out. I think these guys are all three massive leftists, right?
Afterwards, where you go back into like the neutral game, right? And then you have to, and then maybe the opponent used some resources to get an advantage to get the first hit, and now you have an advantage to get that hit back, and then
I know the anime man is like a massive fucking lefty, but that's because he's got a fat slam pig wife, so you know.
It is your turn to start fighting and start trying to hit as well. And it's just a very, very fast turn-based game.
Yeah.
The point is, when it's your turn, you need to optimize how much damage you can do, right? Because otherwise, it'll go back to his turn, and he's gonna just out-damage you.
Yeah.
So it's super, super interesting, and
I'm just not dedicated enough.
It is something that requires dedication.
Yeah. It's like you're either a fighting game guy, or you're everything but a fighting game guy.
See, one thing I can respect about fighting gamers is that they just have like they're at the same time the most chillest people and the most aggressive, the most sweaty people at the same time.
Yeah. Aggressive.
You know,
there's that moment where like the moment they like grab the joystick or they grab the controller, they just like zone in and they just lock the fuck in. They're like, don't talk to me, I'm about to kick ass.
But there is so much about like having like the right mentality and the philosophy of fighting games when approaching fighting games. I mean that part I can respect.
Yeah, totally.
It's all about learning. It's not always about winning. It's all about self-improvements.
Yeah. Just can't be me.
Yeah. You know, I'd much rather people get into fighting games than people get into fucking Bitcoin. You know, people.
I mean, that's neither here nor there. Come on, like
when you talk about self-improvement,
that's apples and oranges.
When we talk about especially like male self-improvement culture, there's two paths you can take. You know,
you can either be a hustle bro or you can be an FGC. Bro.
Right.
Please be the FGC player.
Please be the FGC bro.
That's so funny.
Yeah, that was absolutely hilarious, dude. I'm quite literally dying of laughter. Resident Evil Zombify with the 5. My buddy that begged me for this job not even a year in left to focus on day trading. Brutal, man. Well, hope he doesn't lose all this money then. Never help. That's crazy. It's like, you know, the dudes who quit their job to do sports betting. Yeah, it rarely ever ends well. It rarely ever ends well, dude. The Walmart guy quitting over 40K. Yeah, that's some enrich moment shit right there, bro. Like, hey, yo, bro, I just won 40,000. I'm gonna quit my job and retire. Like, they don't have the mental capacity to think. Like, oh yeah, $40,000 isn't even what I make in a year. I can't live off of this, so maybe I shouldn't quit my job. No, they're just too fucking... Like, that's 80 IQ shit at play, man. That's 80 IQ shit at play. Like, hey, yo, bro, I got more money in my bank account than I ever seen. That mean I'm done. And it's like, yeah, last 2 months, if even that. It's like, bruh. That's 80 IQ shit at play, bro. Or like the trailer trash that win the fucking, you know, scratch-offs. And they get like $5 million. And then, you know, it gets blown on like fucking lifted trucks. A fucking mansion in the middle of fucking nowhere that has 0 resale value. And of course they don't buy it outright. They finance it. They go to fucking NASCAR and football games, and they buy a bunch of beer, you know, and then a year later, all the money's gone. The mortgage is due. They lose the house and everything else too. Yeah. But dude, if we just gave more people more money, then everything would be better. It's just, yeah. People are fucking retards. It's like literally when the stimulus checks went out, Apple saw like a 40% spike in iPhone purchases. And then all of like the luxury stocks like Gucci and Louis Vuitton and all of them saw an uptick in share price due to increased consumer spending. So-called money needed for food and survival gets spent on fucking, you know, Jordans, iPhones, fucking Louis Vuitton bags, Gucci shoes. You know, it's just incredible. You know, it's like the first stores that get looted, bro. It's not the grocery store. It's the fucking Nike store, Best Buy, Louis Vuitton, etc. But, yeah. They need that bread on their table. They need to feed them kids. What, with an 80-inch TV? But, yeah. You know. Such a wonderful society we live in, man. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, bro, is nobody who's actually rich has the need to make other people think they're rich. You know? It's like, why the fuck do I care if other people know I'm rich? Like, I mean, maybe, I guess, if you're trying to get laid, but I'm not. So, if I ever get rich, there will be signs, but I'll never tell anybody. And those signs will be things like Aquapolis Lugia PSA 10. But that's about it. Really, the only thing that would change is maybe I'd buy a house and I would just buy more cards. But that's probably about it when it comes to my plans if I get super wealthy. I don't even think I would buy an expensive watch. I already forget to put on my Apple Watch pretty much every day now. Gotta get my Jesus piece. See. You know what I would actually get? This would be my big splurge purchase. I would buy a ruby necklace. Like, you know how motherfuckers have, like, the iced out necklace? With, like, the big-ass baguette, like, chain kind of thing? I don't know the best way to describe it. I would get that, but with rubies. Because rubies are a good investment stone. And plus, that shit would look pretty cool. So, that would be my flex piece. I'm sure somebody makes it. Let's see. Yeah, something like this, bro. Oh, no, that's not what I want. Well, it looks like I'll have to have it made because I don't see any pictures on Google of it, so there you go. It'll be a 101. Again, there will be signs. But yeah. The reason why I want Ruby is because that's my favorite Gen 3 Pokemon game, but that's beside the point. Something like this, but I would want better rubies than these fucking cheap pieces of shit. Those are terribly colored, and I would want rectangle cut. But yeah, something like that. Plus, they would be larger. But yeah, that would be my one, I guess, flex piece. Yeah, exactly. Higher quality, not cheap stones. Like, I would want, you know, rectangle cut. And I would get it with white gold, not yellow. White gold looks so much better. Yellow gold is for people who are desperate for people to know that they have actual gold. White gold looks so much better. And that's just an objective fact. Alright, we'll watch this real quick. Sony is bad, but key cards aren't any better. Yes, they are. You can sell your key cards. You can trade them with a friend. They don't require access to the eShop. They're literally objectively better than the fucking, you know, digital-only PlayStation, but I'm sure we have another very, very intellectually sound and well-analyzed take here. That's not just regurgitating the same incorrect fucking talking points. Yeah, you don't have to access the eShop to download your key cards. You just put them in and it automatically downloads. It just needs an internet connection. Griffin wears women's jewelry? Not yet. I don't have the money for the ruby necklace yet, but maybe one day.
Hi there, it's Emily, and I've been seeing a lot of people say,
holy anime figures. Jeez. Alright.
how Sony's recent decisions is making it look like Nintendo's game key cards aren't all that bad.
They're a hell of a lot better.
And while I can understand the sentiment, I do think we've lost the plot a little bit here, especially when it comes to what direction.
No, you all never had the plot in the first place. You all never had the plot in the first place. Nintendo found a solution while everyone else was pushing for a digital future. Nintendo found a way to offer publishers a cheap and efficient way to distribute some form of physical media while also not cutting into their margins, when otherwise they would have just made all of their games digital only. So, again, the keycard hate was the most manufactured dog shit ever. It was solely fueled by people who didn't understand what they were even talking about in the first place.
We want physical media to continue going towards. Now, Sony has definitely made this physical media situation for modern games much worse by just saying that they, mid-console generation, are abandoning physical games on disc. And the backlash, I think, is definitely warranted. It's understandable why so many people are frustrated and definitely hyper-focused on Sony and blaming them for trying to speedrun us towards the all-digital future. But I think we have to remember, just because Sony is making physical gaming worse, that doesn't automatically make Nintendo's game key cards a good solution. Those aren't just the two options we have. Both can be bad, and it's okay to say so and call it out. I really don't think we should be...
Okay, what is bad about key cards? No one has ever actually been able to offer a coherent case for why key cards are bad, other than it's not all on the card. Okay, who fucking cares? You know, maybe you're trekking across Antarctica and you don't have internet. Okay, well, there's a super obscure, less than 0.001% use case. Congratulations, you found something to complain about. In what developed nation are you going to go prolonged periods of time without having internet access? Like, that's just not a thing. You know, we don't live in the 80s or the 90s or the early 2000s anymore. Everywhere has free Wi-Fi. You can download a game if you have to. It is not a big fucking deal. Like, again, most of these imaginary issues that they come up with for why key cards are bad are just literally headcanon. So, I don't know. You can literally sell them. You can give them to a friend. You can swap them between systems. It is all the perks of physical, except you just have to download it for a couple minutes. Like, it's not that big a deal.
lowering our standards for physical media just because another company has lowered the bar even further. Now, I'm sure I'll get plenty of people down in the comments who just see the title and just comment away that game key cards aren't bad because they are still physical. They are still physical objects you can put on the shelf, and you could also resell it if you wanted to. And I'm not trying to say game key cards don't have their perks. There are pros and cons to everything. I do think that if we just accept game key cards as the only physical option, it's going to give us a worse consumer experience down the line. A game key card just will never replace a true physical, and that is just how it is. Because what they are, even though they are a tangible physical object that you could put into your Switch 2 and power it on and play the game through there after downloading it from a server, you still have a reliance on a server. So this is not a plug-and-play.
Yeah, dude, because when I'm trekking across the Sahara Desert and I really just want to play some Pokopia, but I forgot to download it before I left, you know, I'm really just going to be hating life when I'm not able to play it because there's no internet access for me to download the game. What are we doing here, bro? Like, why are we pretending like internet is not even a fucking thing nowadays? Everyone has internet. This isn't some commodity that's like super fucking obscure in the modern age.
A sort of option, especially if you don't live somewhere with reliable internet or Wi-Fi connections. And there are questions of long-term ownership. How long?
There isn't internet in every corner of America. Yes, there is. There literally is, bro. Go to any Starbucks, they have fucking free Wi-Fi.
These servers going to last. And there's definitely going to be very strong opinions, I think, about this from Nintendo fans who...
Dude, even the cheapest cellular plans now have unlimited data. So it's like, even the most, like, bare bones, like, $30 a month cell phone plans give you unlimited data. So...
have faith that Nintendo will always keep these servers up and live, and it's nothing to worry about. And I don't know about you guys, but I'm running into some issues with internal storage on my Switch 2, and I've only owned
You don't have internet? How are you typing then?
it for a few months. So I think this is going to be a growing problem. And those who claim like you just have to download the game one time from the server and then it's yours for life, this is not taking into account having to clear up space to play more games on your device, especially given how large a lot of these file sizes.
Clearing up space? Newsflash, if you have a physical disc, you also have to clear up space.
Are becoming, especially for a lot of AAA modern games. And also, we've been seeing a lot of failures too with those external memory cards. People
I don't... Oh, the external memory cards are failing, guy. Okay, well, yeah, your fucking console CMOS battery can fail. This is insane, man.
Combined, especially the cheaper ones. It doesn't seem like this is going to be a very good long-term situation.
Okay, if your memory card can fail, then so can the cartridge. So that's just a moot point. Whatever.
And you may have to end up downloading the game more than once from the server. But I think if
you may have to download the game more than once. Oh, the humanity.
someone had to choose between a game key card and a true physical, wouldn't you rather have a true physical that has the perks that is missing from a game key?
I don't really care, to be completely honest. Sure, why not? But if you have to choose between all digital or the key card's the better option.
Key card can definitely acknowledge why publishers would choose a game key card over a true physical. We've seen Square Enix cite that for Final Fantasy VII Remake, they had to go with a game key card because of the file size of the game. It wouldn't fit on the maximum size, which is 64 gigabytes, and the read space just are not fast enough on those true physical cards for their game, is what they claimed.
That is true. If you load a game off of the native system memory on the Switch 2 versus off the cartridge, it's like a 50 to 60% differential. So the internal storage is way faster than reading natively off the cartridge. FYI.
I understand why Square Enix would choose for something like Final Fantasy VII Remake and Rebirth, why that would be a game key card over a true physical. The other major reason we're seeing a rise of game key cards over true physicals on the Switch 2 comes down to price. And especially around launch, it seemingly there was only a 64 gigabyte true physical cart being offered by these publishers, or third-party publishers. And those are the most expensive Switch 2 sort of vehicles you could buy and have for your game. I think since then, we've been seeing some lower capacity carts being offered for cheaper prices in a sort of a tiered structure. This is not public knowledge, so I'm not really sure how expensive they are, and I don't necessarily want to speculate. But from my understanding, the game key cards also have a tiered structure depending on how large the games are and how much capacity they take up on the server. So from my understanding, it does seem like take into account the different tier levels for size.
Hold on. No. The key cards have a tiered Dude, this is like that other guy who thought that every single like individual copy of a digital game has to be stored separately on a PlayStation. No. Oh my god, dude. One file per game. That's it. You're literally just copying a file. They don't have to store 10 million copies of a key card on fucking Nintendo servers. Oh my god. Alright, yeah.
Before the true physical and the game key card, the counterparts for the size levels that a game could be only differ by a few dollars at most. And there's not a huge price difference between them. But when it comes to scale and trying to distribute these games out in the wild on retailers who are subject to, various sales and whatnot, I think a lot of these publishers, especially your Square Enixes, your Bandai Namcos, your Capcoms, they've all been favoring the game key cards just to save a couple dollars, because when it comes to quantity and the number of sales, a couple dollar difference can widen your margins significantly. So there are definitely publishers who have acknowledged the price structure differences of Switch 2 physical games and have adopted that into their pricing model. So we've been seeing, for example, a lot of Switch 2 true physicals be priced $5 more expensive than, say, the Switch 1 if they offer a Switch 1 version, or the PS5 version, however long that will still be available for. And I think this has been kind of widely accepted by physical media collectors. The question is, though, how has the general masses felt about the increase in price? Because I think there has been an understanding that there is a Switch tax. And
hold on a second, guys. I need to do something real quick. I need to pull up something that I forgot to pull up earlier. And this, I think, sums up this entire physical argument perfectly. Hold on. Let me see if I can find this real quick. I think this is it. Yes, this is it. Okay. So here we go, man. This is what PlayStation is taking away from us. They don't like options. $18 physical versus $42 digital. Okay. I just want everyone to think about this for a second. Really put on your thinking caps. This is some real big brain logic that we're about to get into, guys. And, for the average 95 and below IQer, this is a little hard to comprehend. But maybe, just maybe, the reason why Walmart is clearancing the game for $18 is because no one was buying it physically. I know, a crazy thought. Something that I'm sure would absolutely melt the minds of these people. It's like, yeah, the reason why they're having to put them on sale for $18 is because no one bought the physical copies. The physical games aren't selling. So in order to clear out stagnant inventory, they have to fire sell it. This literally proves the physical media crowd wrong, and they are championing this like it's some sort of gotcha. Dude, if physical media was doing so well, it would be the same price as the digital copy. The physical copy's not selling. But, that's a little too hard to grasp for some people out there. The reason why you clearance shit is because it's not moving. You have to get rid of it because it's just stagnant. So, pretty interesting, man. But this is kind of the, I guess, second or third degree level thinking that's required to understand why things are happening the way that they are, where people who are just purely emotion-based are incapable of, actually putting themselves in another perspective and looking at, hey, maybe why would these companies be doing this? No, it's just, I want physical game now! And that's it. That's the only thought process.
general when it comes to a lot of games. You tend to see Switch games, even third-party Switch games, priced more expensively compared to Xbox or PlayStation or Steam or wherever. And that has been kind of widely accepted. But the Switch 2 is even more expensive now because there has been a visible MSRP difference. Whereas maybe before you would just see the differences in the Switch tax reflected in sales, where the Switch games tend to be just more expensive, even if they're on sale compared to the other platforms. I think this has been a rising question, especially among publishers. Should we just do a game key card? Because the general population who just go to your Targets, your Walmarts, wherever, and pick up a game, they don't always know it's a game key card, despite the lower thirds of the box art displaying that it's a game key card. I think there's still plenty of people who are not deep into the gaming space like many of us are, don't really realize what a game key card actually is, and don't necessarily realize what they're giving up by buying a game key card versus a true physical. You know, I think this might change.
I don't think anyone's giving up anything because most people just want to play video games. Most people just want to play video. Like, guys, let's be completely honest here. In the year of our Lord, 2026, does the thought go through your head when you put in a physical disc where you're like, God, I really hope this entire game is on the disc. It'd be a real shame if I had to download an update. Does anyone even, like, does that thought even cross your mind ever? Like, ever. I've never fucking thought about that shit post PS3. Because PS3, you had to wait like an hour to install everything off the fucking Blu-ray anyway. So it's like, who even fucking cares? Like, how does that affect your enjoyment of a game? You still have the ability to play it, to sell it, to give it to a friend. All the functionality of physical is there. You just literally have to download it off the internet for like 10 to 15 minutes. It's really not that big a deal. Especially with Switch games, because they're usually pretty small.
In the future, but I don't know if it's going to be too late when the general population realizes these differences. We've been seeing this a little bit in streaming, where a lot of people have just, taken to music or TV show or movie streaming, but they've been noticing the not so great things when it comes to streaming service versus owning these games physically. And I think a lot of younger people have been acknowledging why physical media is important, and this might be a growing trend.
No, they're not. Dude, this is such a... This is like the whole,
oh yeah, dude, kids are choosing to not have smartphones and instead are using flip phones.
Okay, yeah, flip phone sales went up from 500 to 600. Oh my god, dude, it was a 20% increase. Like, yeah, this is such a LARP. Yeah, it's a massive fucking LARP, bro. If you asked your average fucking Gen Alpha kid, like, what do you think about Sony getting rid of physical discs? They'd be like, I don't fucking care. This is, yeah. And then they'll point to one guy on Reddit who's like, well, actually, I'm 13 years old and I have a record collection. It's like, yeah, I bet you have a fucking wet head from getting dunked in the toilet.
We see, but this is still just my concern when it comes to video games. Are we going to be too late? Are they going to just widely adopt game key cards, streaming services as a way to acquire our games? And we just totally missed the boat of when we could have saved true physical media and drive what direction we want true physicals to be. And so that's kind of what I wanted my video to really highlight today, because I think it's important to acknowledge, the pros and cons of all different ways that we consume video games or really any media, but what direction do we want the future to go down? Because, Sony, they've decided that they're just going to go cold turkey with physical media, and they might offer some cold-in-the-box options for retailers to make them happy, but I can't imagine, once people start catching on, that they're just buying a game case with a piece of paper inside. They're not going to repurchase these games in the future from those retailers. So retailers are no longer going to be kind of part of the equation of how we buy games. We're not going to have more options to buy games. The prices are just going to be probably set at MSRP without very few sales for console games. And so I can't help but be concerned what's going to happen to games 5, 10.
Let's see. Donna Ecclusia's midriff with the 10. Appreciate it, man. I've never had to delete a game from my PC or PS5 Pro. I just bought 8 terabyte M2s for all my... That's the right way to do it, man. I wish I would have done that. Unfortunately, the only option for storage I had when I got my computer was 2 terabytes, so I have two 2 terabyte drives, but yeah, I wish I would have gotten an 8 terabyte, especially with the prices now. But yeah, that's ideal. But I mean, realistically, re-downloading a game is not that big a deal. Like, this is not the dial-up era where you know, it's like, Mom, get off the phone. I need to update my Xbox game. You know? So, it is what it is. But yeah, that's obviously the ideal way to do things.
15 years from now, what's the landscape going to look like? Are we going to be very limited options? Are we just going to be subjected to streaming services or cloud gaming at a certain point, which might make, you know, these publishers happy that they've eliminated the secondary market, they've eliminated the middleman, and you just buy the games from them directly. And so I think while it's okay to buy game key cards, I'm never going to shame anyone from buying a game key card. If you look at the sales, there are people who do buy them, and enthusiastically so. Like, I remember when Pokopia came to the market earlier this year, a lot of people rushed out to buy that physical game key card case and not offer the digital version.
Yeah, I think GameStop is going to transition into being card shops, personally. I think that's going to be the ultimate end state for GameStop, is they're going to become a trading card shop. And they will buy and sell trading cards, and the power pack system that they have already developed will be expanded, and that will basically be their business model.
Because even if they were strongly against game key cards at a certain point, they gave in because it was a favorite IP for them, and they just wanted to have that tangible object to go on their shelves. And that's fine. Like, I understand why one would do that, and you know, there's going to be so many updates on that game. A true physical is not going to really matter at the end of the day for that particular experience. But one thing I think we could do as consumers, instead of just kind of giving in to the so-called lesser evil, if you consider game key cards evil, is to really speak with our wallet and, you know, tell these publishers what we want to buy and how we will not be driven towards that whole speedrun tour of the digital future. And I think this is important to do, especially now, as things are just rapidly changing. And
yeah, well, they've needed to shut down GameStop stores for a very long time, dude. Like, you used to go every half mile and see a GameStop. Like, GameStop was more of a real estate company than a gaming company after a certain point, because they would typically buy the real estate that they were built on, and they would try and buy the strip malls that they also were featured in. So, in a lot of cases, GameStop has a larger real estate portfolio than an actual game-selling business.
I think this is also a good opportunity for those who, you know, they don't mind digital. I'm definitely not someone who's anti-digital. I own a gaming PC, and I don't mind buying digital, especially when it makes sense. But
yet again. Well. Digital key cards are evil. I have a gaming PC. Okay, yep, here we go again, DreamcastGuy. Here we go again. You are the problem you claim to hate. Oh, man. Many such cases.
I think this is also an opportunity for us to push more consumer rights on digital purchases. And especially if the industry wants to go all digital, we should start now trying to advocate for those digital rights and ownership of digital media that we may be purchasing down the line. But anyways, I just wanted to talk about this and vent a little bit, because I've just been seeing the sentiment that, hey, you know, Sony sucks, so game key cards aren't so bad now. And I don't think I could ever...
Game key cards were never that bad. But, you know, I will remain consistent, even if everyone else switches up.
Really agree with that sentiment, because I think both are bad. And it's okay that both are bad. But what we do with that information and what we choose to purchase with that given
Do you think Steam is bad?
Information.
Just curious.
I think it's the important part. And I'd like to take the time to thank all of my channel members who help make videos like these, as well as all of my live streams possible.
And then they'll be like, oh, well, actually, on PC, you don't have to buy stuff. Okay, but how much have you bought on Steam versus other launchers? And then the answer's always like, oh, well... Yeah. Mm-hmm. So much care about something that you actively participate in.
And a huge...
I don't know, bro. Every single one of these videos is pretty much the same shit at this point. There's nothing new being added. It's the same talking points over and over and over again. I'm a slam pig? No, I'm not. Yeah, they're really pushing this short hard, bro. I can't finish games anymore. Yeah, I don't know, man. Like, you could never guess why. Let's see, Incognito. I think I missed this. Incognito Wizard with the 2 most non-issue outrage ever fabricated. Jeez. I'm assuming that's in reference to the Nintendo Switch shit, but yeah. Agreed, bro. It really is. It's like, I don't know. I've been very consistent on the Switch too. I think time has aged my original stance on that console like a fine wine. But, you know, hey, you can't really say the same about others who were so vehemently against it. It was the evil, destructive, villainous device that destroyed gaming as we knew it. And then all of a sudden, everyone loves it. And it's the greatest thing ever, dude. Griffin, no, I wasn't even clairvoyant, dude. It's just I'm not a retard. Like, I'm just not a retard. Like, that's the thing, dude. Like, I don't really have an emotional connection to a fucking video game console or whatever anymore. I just don't really care. And it's like this whole LARP that we're saving gaming, guys. You know, shine your white armor. You know, it's time to ride into battle. That entire routine is just so fucking dead. It's so dead at this point. Gamers aren't rising up for shit. It's all a fucking LARP. It's all performative. When push comes to shove, all these, you know, physical media or no disc, no buy people, I guarantee you they have massive digital libraries too. Or they don't even own a console in the first place. They're just attaching themselves to the latest internet crusade so they can feel like they're a part of something in their otherwise meaningless lives. So we've seen this time and time again. Very fucking rarely does any of this shit ever materialize into anything. So the facts are not on their side. Sony released their physical media revenue versus their digital revenue, and digital was outperforming physical by over 10x. It's over, dude. Like, it's over at that point. You know? It's like that scene in Gladiator. Why can't people just learn when they're, you know, conquered? Yeah, at this rate, they're gonna make me want to buy a PS6 just to, you know, just to buy it, but, you know, I don't know. I probably won't get one. But they're making me want to buy one out of spite. They're making me want one out of spite. doesn't even recite the whole quote. Yeah, but the whole point of the quote is the Germans got their fucking ship pushed in shortly after. So it's like, you know, they all would have been alive if they just would have learned their place. So. Buy a scalped PS6? Nah, I'll scalp a bunch of PS6s. Dude, new console launches are big money. So, you can make some nice shekels from those. Alright, we got time for one more video at least, so we'll watch our backlog of exciting DreamcastGuy content.
Hey there, gamers, DreamcastGuy here. Today we're talking...
Fuck, he has that shitty God of War controller again, dude. Throw that piece of shit away.
About PlayStation, because Sony...
I hope that God of War controller just combusts. You know, the lithium battery explodes. Like, fuck that controller, dude.
Has finally officially responded to the absolutely internet-melting backlash. On July 1st of 2026, Sony announced the end of physical games, saying that coming up in 2028, they will not be printing any physical discs ever again. First party or third party, doesn't matter if it's Spider-Man or Cyberpunk, nothing is getting printed on a disc. And people have been pissed. I mean, for this last entire month, I'm recording this on the last day of July, everybody has been talking about PlayStation boycotts, PlayStation blackouts, selling their PlayStation collection and going to...
Nobody is talking about that other than Redditors, bro. Which, I mean, he browses Reddit, so I guess that makes sense.
Nintendo, or screw it, just building a big PC. And Sony has refused to respond to give any statement, positive or negative. But last night was their investor call. They sat down in Japan, talked to a bunch of people that pay their bills, and a lot of investors specifically asked about this forced all-digital future. And Sony said a couple key things. They're not going to backtrack. People secretly love the all-digital future, and also...
Yeah, people already like, dude, people already secretly love dude, there's tons of people that like digital media. Like, again, it's impossible for, like, sub 95 IQ people to put themselves in other people's shoes and understand a different perspective than their own. But yeah, there's a ton of people, mainly on Steam, who have been there for 20 plus years that are perfectly fine with a digital future. Again, not everyone is obsessed with stuffing their shelf.
So, they're very much sort of implying that this is a stopgap measure. They're sort of saying that, hey, we have to just sell people empty codes and boxes. We cannot afford to continue to print discs. And I want to break all this down because a lot of people are instantly just saying that Sony are liars. Sony cannot stop lying about the games you want to buy and how you want to buy them. This is purely just a predatory action by the biggest gaming company. Let's take a look at this.
The biggest gaming company? I mean, I guess, maybe, but...
Statements, because they are very long. I hope you're having a great day. If you could please give this video a like and subscribe if you haven't.
Dude, I mean, it's just like, when Xbox does the same thing, when fucking, you know, well, Steam's already done it, so... Nintendo's not going to, because Nintendo appreciates physical items, you know, as a toy company. That's like their entire heritage, so... They have a internalized appreciation for physical, tangible items. But Xbox is doing the same fucking shit next generation, bro.
And already. Now, their financial reports, things are definitely down. Just in general, typically PlayStation sells a lot.
They're not down. Their revenue's up.
Lot more. This is actually, I think, one of the lowest selling quarters ever since the launch of the PlayStation 5. And
hold on, look. The lowest selling quarters ever. FY25, 1.5. FY26, quarter 1, 1.6. So it's actually up from last quarter, but whatever.
Obviously, that's for a couple reasons. The fact that the PlayStation 5 has now had multiple price increases to the console itself. PlayStation Plus getting more expensive, I think, has probably very much steered people away. But it is wild that just in general, you can also tell that just their games not selling as well as they used to. Now, part of that's because, honestly, the only new big first...
They haven't put out any games.
party game was Marathon, which I think nobody bought, but this is wild. Digital download ratio 82%. Now we're going to get more into that in a second, but a lot of people are straight up talking about.
Oh god, please give the wrong fucking assessment of that number. I hope.
This PlayStation boycott. PlayStation people saying, don't even turn your console on until they respond. And a lot of people are saying, I'm done. I'm done with PlayStation just in general. Because the whole statement from Sony has been that secretly people are only buying digital games. That the idea of a physical game is getting rarer and rarer. But it's funny that if you actually look at the numbers themselves, it's just not true. A lot of the biggest games are still being sold very heavily on a disc. Look at that. PlayStation, Final Fantasy.
Assassin's Creed Shadows is not even on the disc. And most of these games are like fucking boomer games. Like, bro, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, average customer, 35 and up. Astrobot, which plays into 90s nostalgia, probably same age range. You know, Assassin's Creed Shadow, not even on the disc. Spider-Man 2, you know, again, probably appeals to fucking millennials like DreamcastGuy. Expedition 33, again, millennials. Monster Hunter Wilds, I don't know the age breakup of that, but considering it's a Japanese, you know, centric franchise, that's not too surprising. Split Fiction, again, millennial slop. Like, you know, these are not your big, like, tentpole games. Like, what is GTA 5? What is Call of Duty? What is Madden? What's FIFA? What's NBA 2K? Like, yeah, these are very niche, you know, more hardcore-centric titles. They are not reflective of what the vast majority of people on PlayStation are buying.
Fantasy VII Rebirth, 48% of people bought it on a disc. Astrobot, 45%. Assassin's Creed Shadows, 36%. And you could say vice versa, that a lot of these games, people are buying them physically, they're still buying them more digitally, but I just don't think it's quite that. I don't just think it's, oh, we've tipped from 51% to 52%, time to scrap the factories. I do think this is straight up PlayStation being scummy for no real reason. Now, Sony CFO Lin Tao.
No, again, here, let's go back real quick. He had it pulled up. You can see right here. He doesn't have it expanded enough, but I'm trying to remember. I think this is the digital software, and that's physical software, if I'm not mistaken. So, physical software, 526.6. Or digital, and then physical's 20.5. I think that's it, but don't quote me on that.
That just in general, you can also tell that just
I can't see what's over on the fucking left. But yeah, there's like a huge differential between the two.
Being scummy for no real reason. Now, Sony CFO Lin Tao says they are not going to change their plans to end physical production and will cautiously move forward with this new plan. There are various reasons we made this decision, the biggest being that digitization of content overall has been progressing. That's the big factor. It's not just PlayStation. For all kinds of content, digitalization is progressing. Now, I hate that they're trying to say this. I think that, honestly,
I hate it. Why? Because it's true.
Physical media matters. I know multiple people that collect old school records, or obviously me, I'm a...
Yeah, well, dude, I know many people who collect Beanie Babies, so I guess those should just be made forever, right?
Big movie buff. I do think it's cool that...
There are people who refuse to buy a new cell phone because it doesn't have a 3.5mm jack. I guess we should just halt the progress of technology on their behalf.
An actual physical disc. And it's not just the fact that, like, for example, a couple days ago for the first time I watched Dune 2. I hadn't seen Dune 2 yet, and I watched it on a 4K Blu-ray, and it looked fantastic. Well, right before that, we watched Dune 1 streamed on HBO Max, and the quality was terrible. It's not just that physical...
Oh my god, bro. Really?
Oh yeah, dude, you can really see the extra detail.
Come on, bro. Like, stop. You do not have the equipment to fucking notice the difference. You do not have a fucking $4,000 high-end OLED display where you can actually physically discern that difference. Oh, what are we doing here, man? What are we doing here? This is crazy, bro. I mean, unless you streamed it in 360p by choice.
Physical media is more enjoyable.
That's like the biggest... I don't know, bro. I have literally watched the same movie on streaming and Blu-ray, and you would be hard fucking pressed to find a difference. Like, I have the 4K Blu-rays of the Lord of the Rings trilogy, for example. I have watched that movie many times on streaming and on the Blu-ray. You don't fucking notice a difference unless you're trying to find it.
More tangible. It's that a lot of times the quality is better because you can do it even if your internet is down, or even if...
Okay, well, that doesn't apply to gaming, so... Alright, let's just throw the 4K Blu-ray thing out the window. There is no discernible difference of playing a game from a disc versus digital. In fact, digital has more benefits than off the disc, but that's beside the point.
You don't want to install it, right? It is cool that you can just pop in a disc and enjoy it. So, yes, I guess technically more people are enjoying digital content because of things like Netflix and Spotify, but I don't like the idea of gaming trying to chase the trend of every other art form, right? We're thinking about the future, and we put a lot of weight and time into this. We consciously considered this, and we came to the conclusion, and we're cautiously moving forward. In this decision, we've received various opinions from people who have strong views, and we understand the community has put forth those views to us. Games are loved by many people. It's a form of entertainment that's loved by people, and it's connected to people's fond memories in many cases. So we understand those emotions. We want to consider that, and in the digital future ecosystem, how do we engage the gamers is something we'd like to continue to explore. Essentially saying, we realize that you guys are mad. We hear you. We think that that's great. We're glad you're so passionate, and that's just PlayStation gamers. PlayStation gamers love to be passionate. And no, we're not going to backtrack. Screw you guys. A lot of words without any meaning. The reason is simple. It's corporate greed. Greed has no limits. We understand those emotions while completely ignoring them anyways. My first DVD player, my last PlayStation. Oh, man. This is wild, man. It's so wild to see them sort of trying to pretend that physical doesn't matter that much. In fact, they even said this.
It doesn't.
In North America, their plan is to replace all discs going forward. In North America, it's already happened. Without discs in a package, there will be codes in a box. That's how we plan on selling games in America going forward. Sony says they've already discussed the plans with retailers beforehand, and this will be their solution. Essentially, they're saying, yep, there won't be any secondhand market. We're just going to sell you an empty box from now on. This stuff genuinely upsets me. I just don't like the idea of the all-digital future, because we're going to get into an analysis here in a bit, but physical games are important. Physical games have held up this entire industry for decades. The ability to buy a game off a friend, to borrow a game, to see something, to go to a store and check out a demo at a live booth, and then maybe go to a GameStop to find a physical copy of it for cheap, right? There is an important part of the process that is physical, that they've just yanked out. They just reached into the gears and yanked it out. This is part of what holds up the entire industry. And when I see stuff like this, Capcom says that 96% of all their sales, 93% of all their sales are digital games. And to me, I just feel like this isn't really a correct number. I think that when I see numbers like this, it's like, okay, so Switch 2 game card keys are digital sales, PC is only digital sales. That means that physical units can only be counted as people buying it on an actual disc on PlayStation 5 and Xbox, right? And I guess I just see this kind of stuff as skewed numbers. It's not really that 93% of people are buying it digitally, it's that 93% of people are playing your games and only can find that digital route. How much of this is downloadable content? How much of this is stuff where you bought the new game for $2 on a Steam sale or something like that, and you're still waiting to find that physical disc? I guess I just don't like the idea that they're acting like that physical games are so irrelevant, they're easily tossed aside. Like, when I see stuff like this just shows the fact that, honestly, the sales are down. They're negatively impacted by these rising costs, even if people are playing it too.
Negatively impacted by rising cost? Dude, that means from a hardware production standpoint. That doesn't mean that, oh yeah, dude, because digital games are more expensive. No. Holy fuck, man.
Percent more people are playing it. Clearly, right now, people just don't care about PlayStation in that same way.
Oh, man.
Artificially limit the amount of...
Isn't it just amazing to live in your own little world like this, where you can just misinterpret things to fit your fucking, already existing preconceived notions? Like, ignorance truly is bliss, man. Ignorance truly is bliss. Because you can turn the most negative, factually incorrect viewpoint into sunshines and rainbows, dude. Like, it's just insanity.
times you can buy a physical game, count physical game cards as digital sales, release code in a box to confuse the gamers, conflate physical and digital sales. It's all by design. People are basically pointing out the fact that right now, just in general, PlayStation is lying to you. They're lying to you via numbers, but they're lying to you. During Sony's call...
How are they lying? Okay, this is such a cope, bro. Sony's financial documents are legally binding. If Sony is falsifying corporate records, everyone who signed off on those documents, including company leadership, goes to fucking prison. But yeah, dude, they're gonna totally fucking lie to you on their financials about how poorly physical media is performing compared to digital to own the gamers, dude. They just don't want you to have those discs on your shelf, bro. This is just insanity, man. You know, this is one of those cases where you can present someone with all the facts in the world and it comes down to a matter of faith. They're not dealing in facts. This is like a religious belief almost at this point.
For the first time in a month, they've reacted to the backlash, and it went about as well as expected. Let's analyze it. First of all, they seem to emphasize that 18 months ahead of the time is a respectable period to give notice. No comment on the fact that basically everybody was surprised to hear the announcement coming so soon. Then they dive into the reasons.
What? They dive into reasons. They claim they're very... Hold on. What part was he reading? Okay. First of all, they seem to emphasize that 18 months ahead of time is a respectable period to give notice. Yeah, a year and a half is plenty of time to make changes. No comment on the fact that basically everyone was surprised by their announcement coming this soon. It's a year and a half away. How much longer did you need? A decade? Did you need a fucking decade? Like, what is that even supposed to mean?
No comment on the fact that basically everybody was surprised to hear the announcement coming so soon. Then they dive into the reasons. There are various, the biggest ones being digitization of content overall seems to be progressing. There's a clear shift in language. Initially, they blamed it directly on consumer habits. We've shown that reasoning does...
That's literally what they're saying there. There's no difference in what they just said there versus the other statement. The only difference is someone said it who was different this time. Therefore, the wording's going to be slightly different as well. The same thing's being said in both fucking instances.
Doesn't fully hold up when looking at the numbers. Then they claim that digitization doesn't only affect PlayStation, but it's all kinds of content. You know, and that is true. There's the rise of quite some years ago. At the same time, they conveniently ignore any and all counter trends in recent years. It's a statement that makes it sound like the direction is inevitable and on a global scale. Now, I wanted to end with this giant statement I saw. We're not going to read all this, but this is actually one of the guys. This is the head of market analysis at Alina Analytics. Now, these people have done a bunch of very interesting leaks and breakdowns and stuff about how sales have been trending for PlayStation, about how bad PlayStation games have been selling, and just in general, how PlayStation continues to be on top despite their own bad decisions. And essentially, he really says that this is sort of their stopgap strategy. This is a short-term margin harvesting rough period. It's PlayStation buying time. The bet is that today's cost squeeze is a phase and not a permanent state. Hopefully the component crisis eases once the AI data center gold rush stops devaluing the world's memory. And again, the macro picture, interest rates, cost of living, pressure on discretionary spending softens. Going diskless keeps the value revenue per player growing through that time, popping up the numbers while the underlying economics are ugly. So what the conditions do normalize, PlayStation comes out the other side with margins intact and business still growing growth. It's a bridge to cross a bad years. The risk, of course, is that the bridge doesn't reach anywhere better. And another important bridge will also get burned in the process. Budget conscious and younger players enter the ecosystem through cheap pre-owned discs. And
no, they don't. Dude, when is the last time you have ever seen a child go into fucking GameStop and buy a pre-owned game? Like, just stop. Stop, bro. Stop. Mom, can we go to GameStop so I can be around a bunch of crusty 40-year-old men? Come on, man. Come on, bro.
Then they get locked in by buying digital games, buying DLC, subscribing to PlayStation Plus, and building a friends list they don't want to walk away from. Killing physical games boards up the cheapest doorways into PlayStation in a generation where consoles cost $700, games are costing $80, and kicking down the cheap...
exactly. The only thing they'd go into GameStop for is Roblox gift cards. Yup. That's it.
Ladder behind them keeps the audience split. Outside of the sports media, casual gamers and youngsters will drift to mobile games, PC, and free-to-play even faster. Squeezing every buyer onto high profit margin channels is what platform holders do when the underlying economics are under pressure. Component inflation and balloon AAA prices fall flat, and post-pandemic readjustment are part of this. So no discs will shore up revenue per player, but the funnel feeding towards the platform begins to shrink. And this is the thing right here. There has been more and more data that most people play free-to-play games. Most people play them, and they're addicted to them, to be honest. A lot of people play free-to-play and spend all their money on Marvel Rival skins or that new big battle pass for Fortnite or Rob.
Casuals and youngsters will drift off to mobile, PC, and free-to-play. They already have. Dude, kids don't play on consoles anymore for the most part. If they do, maybe they have a Nintendo Switch. But most of them are just playing games on their mom's phone or iPad, and then maybe they'll get like a computer for school, and then they'll start playing games on that, and maybe they'll get a PS5, but then what are they gonna play? Roblox, Minecraft, Fortnite. Like, kids are not going out and buying fucking The Witcher 3 pre-owned at GameStop.
Blocks V-Bucks. That's apparently like a huge chunk of all spending now is that. And when you tell these people, hey, don't you want to go buy a full-priced game? Don't you want to buy an $80 game? A lot of times people say, no, I'm currently playing this. I'm happy with this. But a lot of times it feels like people downloaded that free game after they couldn't afford a full-priced game. This is going to accelerate that dramatically. The idea of an all-digital future, if you're not going to own anything, you may as well just fill up your V-Bucks closet. You might as well just play the crappy digital live service slop forever, because PlayStation has no interest in actually catering to the hardcore collectors, the hardcore gamers, the people that love a good story.
The hardcore collectors.
It's all just live service slop forever. I don't know, man. This to me feels bleak. I'm glad they replied. Even if the answer is negative, I'll be honest, I'm glad they replied. Thanks so much for watching, gamers. If you could, please give this video a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and please keep dreaming. Thanks so much for watching that video.
The hardcore collectors that buy all of their games pre-owned at a swap meet 10 years later. God, how could Sony not fucking cater to people that result in zero net profit for them? Wowie zowie. The corporation is not my friend. I know, it's a stunning realization for a lot of these guys. Sony was never on your side. Gasp. Daryl Zone the 2, DreamcastGuy next video. I bought a PS6 and love it. Exactly. Oh, he'll be back to, you know, drinking Sony foot juice after a few days. Don't worry. As soon as the PS6 comes out. Alright, well I guess this is a good place to wrap up for today. I'm gonna go head to the gym. And then I've got my... I gotta check what time it is, but... I've got my morning meeting, dude.